Okay, we'll have an exhaustive discussion with him right about now. Promise, good evening. It's good to definitely have you in the studio with me.
All right, thank you so much, Samson. We'll begin the program with the one-year anniversary of the newly set up National Sports Commission under the administration of President Bola Tinubu. Of course, sports was previously run by a ministry which metamorphosed into a commission exactly 1 year ago, and two technocrats were appointed as chairman and director general. Malam Shehu Diko was appointed chairman, while Honorable Bukola Olopade was named director general of the commission. These two were underlined as square pegs in square holes after their appointments, and 1 year down the line, we seek to highlight how much work they have done, and now we're doing justice to that on the program. Malam Shehu Diko is live on the program today. Thank you so much for finding time to be on the program today. It is indeed quite important to really underline and really take a look at how much work you've done as the chairman of the Sports Commission. 365 days in office. Talk us through how well you've done. Talk us through how much work you've done as chairman of the National Sports Commission.
Thank you very much, Promise. Quite a privilege. Big honor to be here, you know. I don't know where to start, to be honest, because it has been really, really very, very fantastic, fulfilling year, I can say. Myself and my brother, the DG, Bukola Olopade, you know, we know clearly what we have to do when we get the opportunity. And I can tell you, we don't want to blow a trumpet per se, but the stakeholders and the feelers from the system is very clear that we are going in the right direction. So much has been done in the resetting and restructuring of Nigerian sports across all the levels of the development that we want to do. And so much is being cooked up as we move forward. I think if we stay to do that, we can stay the whole night here discussing it. From having the strategic document, resetting the way we do things, refocusing the way we do things, relaunching our sports, the strategic outcomes we are looking at, that is resetting the federations, trying to attract the private sector, the grassroots sports development, and the sport federations, what we want to do, what we have done with them. And if you look at the activities that have all cascaded over the last 1 year, it's quite amazing. From how our domestic competitions now, every sport federation now is working hard to have a domestic competition. From the competition we have hosted internationally here, from the one we have participated, almost over 50 teams have traveled out of the country to different sports all over the world to participate. And I think only about 2 or 3 have not brought something home to Nigeria to do that, you know. And then from working with our infrastructure, the legislation that we are all working to put, like the anti-doping lab and everything, the anti-doping bill that has been comatose for 20 years. We get it done in a few months. Mr. President was able to sign it up. The new structure of funding for sports that we are trying to change and everything. And just even the mindset. We just had the federation elections now, for example. For the first time, everybody, everything was seamless, practically seamless, very few hitches here and there, unlike before. So everybody have aligned to this vision that is happening under the watch of our dear President Bola Tinubu, GCFR. And I think the general agreement from all stakeholders and followers of sports is that sports in the right direction, and we just need to keep going this forward. But at the end of the day, all this work we are doing, what are we trying to achieve? The mandate we have is to make sports and part of the economy, right? So there has to be, we want to see making sports to be at least 3% of GDP at the final outcome. We want to see sports at least putting about 3 million people in the jobs, either direct, indirect, induced. We have to get our infrastructure working. You know, we have to dominate the market, global talent market of sports, so that we can get all the talent to go there and earn foreign exchange back into the country. We have to host as many international tournaments as we can. And then, of course, we have to keep using sports as our tool for social engineering and our unity. It is our national asset that breaks all our fault lines. So the more we do it rightly, the more the country becomes united and more productive, and therefore we'll be creating wealth, both the sport wealth, the diplomatic wealth, the economic wealth, the social wealth, cultural wealth. All this, we have to put them back together. So, so far so good, but so far also so much remains to be done, and we are all working to do that.
Okay, you came up with the REINS initiative shortly after you were appointed as chairman. Can you tell us how much impact this has had, on Nigerian sport, directly or indirectly, especially in the area of, creating that sport economy you spoke about moments ago?
Yeah, the first thing we did was to come up with a strategy document, myself and my DG, and that strategy document is called Renewed Hope Initiative for Nigeria's Sports Economy. And what does that mean? That this strategy framework sits on 3 pillars. The first thing we said, we have to reset the way we do things, because for many years we keep always being concerned with only participating in international events, going to the World Cup, going to the Olympics, and spending billions and billions of resources on that, and then we're not getting anything. So we have to reset our thinking and be more focused on the internal ecosystem of our sports, domestic sports development. We said we have to refocus the way we do things, meaning we have to be intentional and deliberate about it by creating policies and direction that are deliberate, legislation, even funding. Whatever we have to do it the way it should be done so that we can create and enable the ecosystem to work. Then we have to relaunch our sports by making sure that our sport is being seen as in the positive line that is supposed to be seen, so that we can attract all the participants and the private sector and stuff like that. With our even the elections now that we had, if you look at the kind of caliber of people that are coming into the sports trying to run the federation, it shows we are relaunching the sports the way it should be. And how are we going to deliver this REINS agenda? We have 4 strategic objectives of delivering it. Number 1 is institutional repositioning. Now we have to reposition the NSC itself to make it more professional, attract more capacity to it, make sure to get it done. Number 2, we have to work with the private sector to complement whatever government is doing. So we have to create the platform to attract the private sector to do that. Number 3, we have to restructure our federations, because they are the operating officers for sports. So we have to make sure they are operating in the optimal way, so that they can deliver what they have to do. We are the NSC are basically regulators and the enablers. But the federations are the ones actually dealing with the direct sports. That is why we have to work with them, bringing the operating officers, enabling the federation to attract more credible people to run the federations, as you have seen. And then we have to also work on the grassroots sports, because grassroots sports is the foundation of any sports development. So the grassroots sport we are doing is working to create a grassroots sport hinged on school sports. That would be the foundation. And already now, myself and my brother, the Minister of Education, Dr. Alausa, we are co-chairing the joint committee that is working to enable, on a sustainable basis, the school sports back the way it should be. And so at the end of the day, I've already talked about the outcomes. If we are able to do this, the outcomes we want to achieve, 3% of GDP and the jobs created and everything. And already now, we are the first agencies in the government to create a portal, which now we are working with the delivery unit of the federal government, the central delivery unit, result delivery unit. So now we can populate all this thing we are doing. The competition hosted, what is the job created, what have you done, the kind of...
And those information will be right there.
That will be online so that people can see clearly what we are doing, and we can judge ourselves to see whether we are actually going in the right track or not.
Okay, now I would like to ask you, what has been your biggest challenge in the last 1 year? What is that big challenge you've really encountered as chairman of the Sports Commission, and how do you intend to navigate that bend as you go into the 2nd year of your tenure?
Well, the reason why the Sports Commission was created is to make it more professional and bring in professionals that already know the system. That is why Mr. President was very bold in his nature and decisive, and his daring move was able to scrap the Federal Ministry of Sports and bring back the National Sports Commission.
That was a big, bold move by the President.
Because the President is always very daring and always do things, taking the road less traveled. But he knew clearly it would deliver the outcomes that is desired. So by doing that, he now also bring about two persons that are already in the system. Myself as the chairman, my brother, Bukola Olapade, who, many people don't know, many decades ago, we are already working together and saying we want to work together to deliver sports in Nigeria. And either by divine intervention or the president was able to put us together to be able to do what we are doing. So we already know the system. We already know the problems. We already know the challenges. I already know what to do. So really, there is no more challenges. The challenges is trying to now.
You and Bukola have already been in the system.
Yeah. So the challenge.
Looking around.
Yeah. The challenge is just to get everybody to align to this vision and follow us.
That's true.
To what we are doing. That's the biggest challenge. And the second challenge, is our sports. Sports. Even though we have a very big budget, unprecedented budget, but no matter where you look at it, so long this budget is being activated and delivered within the normal framework of normal government work, there will always be challenges. For example, if we have a work to pay a contractor, if government doesn't pay the contractor now, the best thing you could do is slow down the work and wait until he gets paid. He will catch up.
That's true.
But sports, once they say we are going, now they say we are going to play the playoffs, for example, for the World Cup, it's 13 and 16. Come rain, come shine.
They must be played.
Those dates will be played. So we need to now, the biggest challenge is we are trying to work with all stakeholders to make sure that to understand that sports funding is timely and it has to align to the programs. Even if you have it in the budget, if it is not released at the time to start the preparations and to get it done, it will create challenges for us.
Okay.
So we have to now, at any time, point in time, even though we have a very good, brilliant working relationship with the Minister of Finance, and Minister of the Economy, who have now assumed even the presidency of the Basketball Federation. Thank you very much for that. But still, we have to work within the context of the government.
That's true.
But sport cannot be treated that way. It should be treated as a special asset so that the funding is seamless. Then you can see the leader of all the countries that we see that we are admiring: Morocco, Algeria, South Africa.
That's how they operate.
That's how they operate because they see sport as a separate entity, deliberate and intentional. It doesn't align. They don't take it as the way they take other spending of
other sectors, yeah.
So that it can flow.
Okay.
So the funding releases and it must match the timing of the sporting activities, both in the domestic sector and also in the national sector. So in that case, we can see much better, doing much better.
All right, Chairman, we have to go pay some bills now. We've got some commercials. We'll come back and the conversation will continue. All right, indeed, we've been having conversations with the Chairman, National Sports Commission. It is 1 year since his appointment as the leader of that agency, once saddled with the responsibility to take sport to the next level. Malam Shehu Dikko is still live in the studio with us here on TVC Sport Desk. Well, you led Nigeria to bid to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games just a few weeks ago. India got the rights, while Nigeria has been offered the rights for the 2034 Commonwealth Games. Tell Nigerians what happened, and will Nigeria take that offer for 2034?
Well, it was quite an interesting period, and we feel very, very fulfilled in the Sports Commission, and indeed, we must thank the President because he led the bid. He even gave a personal support letter for the bid and everything. And all the chief of staff, all the ministers, and all the agencies that came together, it's a whole Nigerian bid that put it together. FCT minister, everybody was on board. And if you look at even the joint press release that was issued to say the game, the 2030 is going to India, but Nigeria are not being left out. The board clearly identified and agreed that we submitted a very robust,
very strong bid.
A strong bid that cannot be ignored. Nigeria can never be ignored, and therefore they have to meet with us online, agree. Okay, let's do a joint statement. Can you come to take 2034? We want to keep talking with you because your bid is amazing, and we want to work with you to see how we can deliver that. And so that really shows something, and it's a big win for us to be at that level. We are not just ignored. We have to continue in the process. And we have learned one or two things. And then we continue on the same trajectory we are today. Because what the Commonwealth wants is to, if you are submitting a bid, you should show that whatever investment you are doing, renovation of stadia, is already what you wanted to do with the bid or without the bid.
Sure.
So we already have that program. Our infrastructure are already being prepped up for the delivery to do that. So we are quite happy with that, and what I want to tell you is that the bid was not given to India because we don't have a bad bid or we cannot be able to do it. It's other factors that have nothing to do with sports, which I don't want to go conversation on that. All these recent toxic issues that came up into Nigeria out of nothing from the US and stuff like that, all these issues that are critical issues might have played, I'm not saying it is, might have played a role in now saying, okay, let's hold on, let's keep working with them to get that done. But at least we'll now continue on our own trajectory, because we already have the offer to host the Africa Games 2031. So we are going to continue with that. We are already being offered the Africa Youth Games 2027. We'll continue with that. We are working to see whether we can even get the WAFCON in 2028 with CAF. So we continue, because hosting of major international competitions is one of the fundamental pillars of the RINS agenda, because that's the only way we can get our facilities working, and we also be able to re-engineer our domestic sports ecosystem to deliver the economic values we are looking at, and also keep cleaning up the country and making the country the best that it should be, and selling the country to the best that we can globally, attracting investment, attracting tourists and everything. And so we are using this hosting to create positive value for the country, and we continue in that respect. We have to continue our conversation with the Commonwealth, and we have to now wait to get the direction from the big boss, Mr. President himself, to see how we can proceed with the Commonwealth offer for 2034.
All right, Chairman, let me just make this quick announcement, because we have a live broadcast from Anambra State, which we'll be holding on our sister station, but of course the show will continue. You can scan the barcode on the screen right now to keep watching, and certainly Sport Desk is still live on this platform. Chairman, let me ask you this. One of your predecessors, Sunday Dare, tried to bring life to the historic National Stadium in Lagos, which is one of the federal government's properties across Nigeria. I mean, and one of those federal government stadia that has gone comatose. I mean, are you worried about the state of our sporting infrastructures? And if yes, what do you want to do? What are you looking to do to ensure that we have our sporting infrastructures are top-notch across Nigeria?
Of course, sporting infrastructure is part of our own fundamental issues. If you look at our budget this year, a lot of the money that we have in that budget is not for programs. It's to drive the revival of the sporting infrastructure on a sustainable level. And part of what we did when we came in is to engage to see how we can further to fast-track the revival of the National Stadium Lagos. And not just revive the stadium, to create what we call a sports city. Because part of the problem that we have, you can put all the money you want to put to fix the stadium. If there is no economic activities around it, that will create revenues on a daily basis, that will keep bringing people there to the stadium, creating revenue, creating activities, so that you can get money to maintain it, to go back to where it was before. So we are already working on that. The process is already almost complete, to hand it over to the private sector, so that they can revive it and get it back on track. And then also work with them to create the sports city. What do you mean by sports city? Is to create the economic infrastructures around it, the hotels, the convention centers, the offices, the residencies, and everything, to make it a city of itself. So we are working on that. We are almost done with that, to hand it over to the private sector to do that. In fact, the last few days, even the Lagos State governor have approached us. Now, please give us this stadium, we'll just fix it. We'll take it over and fix it, because we have already handed over, for example, the Kaduna Ahmadu Bello Stadium.
That's true.
Kaduna State government. And
it's been concession, yeah?
We are doing a partnership with the state government.
With the state
for example, it's domiciled in the state. We give it to the state to invest, to bring it back to life, get the sports city, and then manage it. And then we have perpetual right to use it for our events, for national events at every time. And we had the first right to refusal. And then we have what we call the step-in right, that if they are not maintaining it, the federal government can take it back. Okay. So already the Kaduna State government, under His Excellency Ubasani, has shown the first step. He has already awarded contract to revamp and restructure Ahmadu Bello Stadium to make it the best that it could be.
We'll wait and see how that
He has already awarded a very big contract for that and to get it done. We have already almost done with the Obafemi Awolowo Stadium. Okay. The Oyo State government also have committed some huge amount of money. The governor is very keen. I have his letter to also do the same thing. Take it over, fix it, make sure it's working. And then we have our office there. We have the first right to refusal to use it. We have the perpetual right to refusal to use it as a government. And then we have that stepping right to do that as well. Bauchi, we are working to get that one, the same thing going. Because the idea is to have at least one stadium in each zone that is functional at any time. So we are working on that. And then we are also working to induce other states to do that.
How about Abuja?
Abuja, originally we are doing that one directly because we are holding that one directly. It's in the budget already. Okay. We have brought the best experts from Europe to come. They have assessed it, both the stadium, the broadcast infrastructure, and everything. They have already assessed it. They have already set it a budget, and we have already got the due process certificate to proceed with the award of the contracts, so that they can start work as quickly as possible. And then we have already induced other states. You can see what Rivers State Governor is doing. I went to him, have a conversation with him. Now he's repairing the Yakubu Gowon Stadium. Sokoto State Government are also trying to do their own. Plateau State Government. So we are inducing other people to also come in to deliver their stadium. But that is why the final analysis, in our plan to restructure the National Sports Commission, we will create what we call the National Sports Infrastructure Development and Management Agency. It will be a regulatory body that will oversee the development and management of all stadiums in the country. They will put the minimum benchmark for you to get the license to build a stadium, and you must submit the sustainability plan. And then they keep an eye and support you to make sure it's done the right way.
That's fantastic. All right. I've had interactions with previous sport ministers who complain about the budget allocation for sports barely covering the needs for the sector. Has that changed under the current administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu? And how are you looking to get the private sector fully involved? As we see in developed nations where the private sector actually drives sports development across nations?
Well, let me start with your last question. Across the world, government always drives the sports development. They provide the enablers for the private sector to come in to do that. In most countries, even in America, for example, it is government that build the big stadiums and everything, and then they hand it over to the clubs or the private sector to keep managing to do that, because they want to create the economic activity around it. So people should get that at the back of their minds to do that, to do that. But yes, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, I think the budget of sports this year is the best budget for sports in over 60 years. Only President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with his boldness, that could be able to do that. But all that may not be enough to deliver what we want to deliver. So we are trying to create a sustainable plan that will outlive us. So we are working to create what we call the Sports Development Fund. If you create that fund, we can be able to pool resources outside what government is doing into that fund that will now run sport, develop infrastructure, develop the programs and everything. And also the fund will be run independent of the sport, by professional, by experts and stuff like that. And then also within that fund, they will create a lot of incentives and benefits that will attract the private sector to be part of it. If the private sector knew that if I put this money here, this is what comes to me, this is the benefit that I got, you can see everybody rushing to come there. So we want to use the National Sports Development Fund to resolve all that. Already we're engaging with the National Assembly and everybody and stuff like that. And from our forecast, if we get it right, that fund could, with the way sports is in Nigeria, could activate over 1 trillion every year.
Interesting.
And that would be enough money to keep developing the infrastructure, keep building new ones. The same way Morocco is doing, the same way everybody is doing. But it will take a legislative process to do that. It's already happening, and we are working on that.
All right, let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The playoffs are just around the corner, a few days or weeks away from now. I know this is under the purview of the Nigerian Football Federation, but we know football is opium. We know how much President Bola Ahmed Tinubu loves football and the Super Eagles. You've told us a couple of times that he watches the national team. What is the NSC doing to ensure that the Super Eagles do not fail in Morocco?
Well, when we came in as the NSC, for example, the qualifiers were already in jeopardy. 4 games, 12 points, only 3 points.
Jeopardy is an understatement.
Only 3 points, only 3 points on the board, and we are already, people have already lost hope that we are out of it. But we were able to pull together with the NFF, with ourselves, with the players, and everybody. Say, look, we have to get this done, and we are able as the NSC to bring everybody to start moving in the right direction with the same objectives. And if you do that, success is guaranteed. First thing we did, we bought the players, for example, we agree on the new bonus structure that will incentivize them to give their best for the qualifiers and everything. And we as a commission, with the backing of Mr. President, we provided whatever the NFF need, financial, logistics and everything, we provided it, including even paying the national coach to make sure that everything is done the right way. While the NFF are putting their house in order to get new sponsors and everything, we assume support by paying the national team coach, providing all the logistics, paying all the costs and everything, and we are working together as one team. So you can see now, doing whatever we have to do, both above the line and below the line, to make sure that we get to where we are. We are able now together to recover 14 points out of 18, and that have propelled us to the playoffs. So we have a second chance.
Absolutely.
So nobody is joking with that. The first thing we did, immediately after we beat Benin Republic, that same night we started having meetings with the players. then okay, what do you need to do? Because we now have 3 games, likely 2 in Africa and 1 in the Intercontinental.
Exactly.
Which every game is a final.
That's true.
You can't take it. There's no room for error.
No second chance.
No room for error. If you make an error, you're out. So we have to focus to take. We are playing 3 finals, 2 finals in 4 days in Morocco next month, and 1 final in March.
That's true.
So how do you play finals? You have to take it the way you play finals.
That's
Motivate the players, incentivize the players, give them the best bonus that they could get. Forget the bonus you used to give them before. You have to pay them the bonus for the final, provide all the logistics, refocus everybody. And we are already, every day we are meeting with the NFF and calling the players and working together to make sure that everybody is focused. So, and of course, even before I left Abuja today, I sent a memo to Mr. President to say this is what we need to do for government to support the team to do that. And I believe with the support of Mr. President and with the support of Nigerians and our players, we'll be able to deliver that World Cup ticket.
Nigerians have said, I mean, if the Super Eagles fails to qualify for back-to-back World Cup, that would be a travesty. But of course, you are assuring that the support is coming and the Nigerians can begin to hope and expect to see the green, white, green flag of Nigeria being hoisted at the World Cup next year. I want to say thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Thank you for the conversations. And we wish you the very best of luck. It's just 1 year gone. Many years to come as chairman of the Sports Commission, and best of luck we want to wish you.
We are organizing a party with all stakeholders, probably after the playoffs in Morocco, so that we can discuss and say this is what we have done this year, and this is what we want to do the next year, and this is what we want everybody to do, so that we can keep getting everybody aligned and working in the same direction, with the same purpose, with the same objective.
Absolutely.
And definitely with the support of Mr. President, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and success is surely guaranteed. All
right, Chairman, National Sports Commission Shehu Diko, live on the show. Thank you so much for coming today. We'll go pay some more bills, take some commercials, and Samson will be back with the rest of the program.